Michelle, your background looks completely different.
Yes. I can honestly say, well, I can't honestly say that, but I am within the next 10 days have unpacked my last box.
Wow.
I am at my home for the winter, which is down in Florida. And I spent the last 10 days actually by myself to be able to unpack. And you want to laugh? I still have 6 boxes going to Goodwill. And I have unpacked and put things away. Peter and Mona came back today. And so we have company this weekend. His sister will be in town. So the next weekend we have decided we will pull the kitchen apart because now we have probably triples of things.
Yeah.
So we are going to, but I need to show you ladies something because one of my biggest decisions was to bring the vase or not to bring the vase.
Right, your grandmother's, yeah.
That I've had with me since she moved to Florida. So she passed in 2013, so it's been 10 years, and she lived in Florida for 7 years before she passed. And I have it.
Wow.
So this vase is from, I think, like the I just dumped all kinds of stuff out. From the I think she's had it since 1950 something.
Wow.
So you have a place for it?
No, but it's there.
It's there?
It's there. And I know my place will come.
Yeah.
I know it will shine and show me. And it could stay right there. It could stay right by the garbage can, maybe. Who knows? But
Or get a little table for the in front of your window and stick it on top of the table.
yeah, it could be. And through this whole thing, you guys have heard me have tears. Like, where did this crap come from? Oh my God, like all of this stuff. And moving into a home that is furnished and there is other belongings here. But I find that what I have now in front of me are things that bring me joy, good memories, peace. So I showed you that vase. This quilt here is one of the quilts that used to be on my grandmother's bed. That picture used to hang in my parents' house. So even though the end table and the couch came with the home, I am finding what I'm putting in place are similar to things that bring me that peace and that joy. And what I'm feeling, what I found was I went from a 2,500 square foot home, 3 levels, to up at the cottage, that's 1,400 square feet, 1 floor. This one here is 1,500 square feet, 1 floor. And I find more peace here and at the cottage. Because at the other home, as much as we loved it and we filled it with memories, the more you have, the more you want. Kind of mentality. Like, I was like, well, I have this big empty room. I got to fill it with something. I have to fill it with something. That was the expectation. So when it came down to it, through all of the struggle from January, I was thinking about this the other day. From January to May, I was decluttering. Okay. May, I had a 6x12 U-Haul that I put on the back of my car and I drove to Vermont and to Connecticut to give items of value that my children wanted. So there were things that they wanted there were memories and treasures that they took. And then I came home, I moved into the cottage. I had to come back down here. Then I had to go back to the cottage. Then I came back down here in September. And the less I have, the more happy I am. I am like more at peace now.
Wow.
That's good.
Yes. Yes.
Does this whole thing feel complete?
It does feel complete. And I know one of the concerns I had was I was moving into someone else's home.
Mhm.
These two homes are Peter's family homes that we have been blessed with. And I wasn't sure where my place would be. That probably lasted, here it didn't last at all, to be very honest. And it really didn't last at the cottage. Because
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that happened?
because I think a little bit I didn't allow it to.
Hmm.
Because I brought in, well, I know the cottage is more a family legacy
Mhm.
that will be handed down through generations, rightfully so. And this home here, his mom has had wonderful taste. It is a wonderful woman. And I think I was getting in my own way. And I decided, why? Like, our minds, I don't even want to go down to the stories we tell because I know why. But, and so I brought in what was important to me.
Hmm.
And Pete and I are rebuilding this as we want it to be.
So if you were to have to sit with me and say, because I am now going to leave my home and I'm going to go someplace else, what would be some pieces of advice that you would give me in order to make that transition?
If you need to declutter, you have to declutter and do it in stages. First off, what you can easily declutter, that's just keep doing that. Like, don't, if picking up that vase gave you anxiety, you weren't sure, then that means you have to put that vase down and turn to something else that you can easily get rid of. So some of the tchotchkes, little knickknacks in the house and different things that I had, like I wasn't going to need my heavy winter boots any longer, and I wasn't going to need these things. Those were easy decluttering. So what you can easily get rid of, you can. If you still have a family attachment to it, a memory attachment to it, and you know it won't fit into where you are moving to, you can see if there are family members that wish to have it. And it doesn't have to, if you don't have children, you can check with other people within your family. Like, you can start doing that aspect of it. And then when you get close to the things that really are, well, I don't know if I can do this, there's that 3-letter word that is so powerful. Why is it so important that I keep it? Like, why? Why? Like, Tracy E., I know we've talked sometime about in past episodes. I think they're teacups or there's pieces of china that you have, like, and you have them, but there's a reason why you have those. There's a connection to it. There is a connection to my vase. And is that connection, are you able to capture that memory? Or physically having that piece of stuff in your hands, most important. And then when it came time for the move, and it came time for me to move into the two homes, I decided to let go any preconceived notions and just enjoy the home and find new routines and new habits.
Mm.
So what did
That-
you do, like, so on that same lane of thinking? So that's about the physical stuff. How did you close off that chapter, that area, that location, and then turn around and get ready for this new adventure, which is totally in the unknown? You have an idea of what's happening, but it's still completely a big
Mhm.
change. So how did you mentally wind down this and prepare yourself for this one without the not the physical
Yeah.
stuff, more just from a mental?
Yeah, on the mindset
Yeah.
aspect, you mean. That was not easy. That wasn't. I think what was easier for me, to be honest, was because we went from Madison, Wisconsin, up to the cottage
Mm.
in right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we had friends there, and I made new friends. I think that part of the transition piece helped me get ready for this piece of moving down to Florida. So I think in that aspect, I was lucky. It wasn't like, now I'll take moving from Connecticut when I went to Wisconsin. That was complete like shut off. Like I was leaving family and I had no friends and that whole thing. And there were moments of sadness, and I'm going to say grief, because you are leaving a part of a life behind
Mhm.
on that. And I make special efforts to stay in touch with certain friends, certain people that were extremely important to me. You know, I make sure we have contact and this and that. But I also try to push through and be a little uncomfortable and try to do something different. Perfect example. And I'm not like on a Saturday, on Saturday in Madison was totally different than Madison at the lake. I mean, Saturday at the lake, but it would be just Peter and I. And I would like force myself to blow up an inner tube, connect it to the dock, and just sit there with my water and read a book. That is nothing I would have ever done in the past.
Mm.
So that was trying something new. It was joining the golf league. Like someone approached me about this golf league. I am not a good golfer, but I'll go golfing if there's no competition, if we're all going to have fun. I got so far out of my comfort zone, he and I went, because now I have to make friends.
Yeah.
The introvert in me was like,
Mm.
So I went in with the mindset, allowing myself to miss what I was missing, but also forcing myself to do things differently. I took my kayak out more. I went kayaking more. Like that was nothing I would do before. At this stage of my life, I'm able to do that in this season. So I was able to do that. So now I'm in Florida. Okay. I've been here for 10 days by myself. And I was teasing, I was talking to Pete the other day. There was a gentleman down the road, and there's a woman up the road here, and they both have dogs. Commonality. There's a common interest.
Yeah.
Common thing, dogs. Miss Mona would be here. And I literally got out of my comfort zone and went over and introduced myself. 2 different separate days, 2 different, totally different people, the whole thing, and introduced myself.
That's good then.
That's not me. I was like, hey, Pete, I make friends. And you don't even know these people already. And he's like, are you serious? You went up to somebody and said hi. I'm like, yep, I did.
So what would have happened if this had all happened, say, 4 years ago? Because you've changed, right? So
Yeah.
so what have you, that 10 days hung out at home, not like, you don't have the layers
Those-
of growth. So
those-
all the
those-
growth you've done in the
Yep.
past couple of years, now you do this big change and it
Yeah.
just snowballs on being
Yeah.
even bigger change.
So 4 years ago, I would not have talked to anybody. I would have, no, I shouldn't say that. I would have had conversation with people after I got drunk. I would have used alcohol
Mm.
to bring down my inhibition, to have a conversation with somebody, to be very honest. I would have, so my 4 years ago, my finding of friendships would have been more surrounded around the bar than
Mm.
walking the neighborhood, saying hi to my neighbors. And I'm somebody who says hi, always all my life. As I pass people, I say hi. But that's it, I say hi. I'm the kindness in me, hi, hi. Now, especially when I see people out working, like, I make sure I say hi to every worker that's doing lawn work. I like go out of my way to make sure I say hello to them and ask them how they're doing. But I also, if I see an older person out walking, same time every day, I make sure it's like, good to see you this morning. Because I remember being out walking with my anxiety, I would use it as a way to move my body and get through the anxiety. And sometimes I think I would have craved for somebody to just start a conversation with me, to be seen. So I want to make sure they know they are seen. So 4 years ago would have been drunk Michelle. Making friends, to be very honest with you.
I just find it interesting, the changes, how they,
Mm-hmm.
when things come around, decisions.
Yeah.
As you go out of your comfort zone, it just kind of.
And this
That's
is
another
very out
layer.
of my comfort zone because you guys have heard me talk about my race. And depending on when this recording goes up, but as we're recording, my race is in 2 weeks. And hitting this weather that I'm in down here is as opposite to what I'm going to be racing in. And that's even a higher uncomfort level because now I have to be out I go out at 7 in the morning and it's 95% humidity. So there's even more uncomfortableness. And yeah, it's not an excuse. It's like, oh,
Right.
Michelle, it would have been an excuse. Nope, this isn't matching the temperature I'll be racing in. But what I'm doing now is, it's not the temperature, it's the mindset. For me to walk out that door and hit a wall of humidity is no different than me starting my umpteenth lap at midnight at 20 degrees. Because it's all up here. It's nothing to do with the legs. So it's all the mindset shift.
Well, I'm glad you're settling in.
I'm settling in. So yes, so these are my new digs today. I was hoping it was a little nicer out. You might have gotten the backyard golf course view. Maybe another time.
Yeah, next time.
Maybe, but the thunder, and I don't think she's come out of the bathroom yet. Haven't seen her. My poor thing. She does not like loud noises, but that's okay. So,
It's been quite the ride, eh?
yes.
Yeah, it's been,
So-
I mean, it's gone on for a long time. Like when this whole process started, when these decisions were made, and now you're finally at the end of this journey, closing this chapter and completing it. It's been a long time.
Well, it's probably been longer because Peter and I have had this conversation for the last probably 3 years because he was getting ready to retire. So this is a conversation that we've had, and that's what people need to realize. Time marches on, So having a goal or having plans doesn't mean you're gonna work everything every day. So the time matches on. So this is something we've been working on for the last 3 years
Mhm.
through
Oh, he
everything.
must be happy, right? Like he's,
Oh, yeah. I'm laughing because he's out in the garage working right now, and he loves this like 95-degree humidity. And because he just came in this morning and he's like, "Isn't this wonderful?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, sure,
you'll get used to it.
I will." I'm told that by the end of October, the humidity goes down, way down. So, but I do have a sonnet.
Let's hear it.
My move. I have cried, laughed, hugged, and celebrated. But what has come to my mind is the more I have, the more I want. The bigger the place, the bigger the closet, the bigger the shopping cart, the bigger the social circle, the more you want and the more you expect. Now, I am in a new home. I've released items that no longer serve, filling my surroundings with loving, meaningful belongings. Thank you, struggle. For now, I am at peace.
That's beautiful. Love it.
Yep,
Love it.
thank you.
That's awesome.
So, if you are in the middle of moving, decluttering anything, or want to know more about my move, go back to some past episodes because they are there.
And she's
Please.
getting rid of things.
Getting rid of things, yes. Comment below if you find this episode is something someone else needs to hear. Please share it. Make sure you subscribe and get notifications because every Wednesday is a new episode. Until then.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.